Hey, first grade. So today we are going to continue our Paul Klee cat and mouse painting. Today we're going to be outlining it with dun 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 the Sharpie or permanent marker, right? And then we're going to be adding some color, baby color, with these wonderful watercolor crayons by Faber-Castell. So here we go. Open your Sharpie, put the cap on the back, and just trace your lines.
You want to make sure you're careful and you go slowly so that your line is black. If you go too fast, the Sharpie doesn't have time for the ink to travel and you're not going to get a nice black line. You need to go slow, give the marker some time to go into the paper. If you rush, things
don't come out the way you want them to. So notice that I turn my paper upside down so that I'm always pulling the Sharpie down towards me. Pulling towards me. It just makes it a little bit easier. Here, I can turn it this way and come down. It just makes it easier to do this than to try to move your hand all over the paper.
So, I'm going down, down. Here I can just trace this part, down, down. I'm going to turn the paper this way so that I can curve the line and go towards me, from the center, down to me, center, down to me. Turn it again. So I'm always starting from the top and going down. Just makes it a little easier. Those are just little tips and tricks that I've learned. All right, for the bird, we're just going to trace him too. Little eye and his little legs. Okay. That is step number one.
When you're done, please make sure the cap is on your marker. Push it really hard to make sure it's closed. Then you're going to get your box of colored watercolor crayons. You heard it right. Crayons that are activated with water. So we're gonna take our colors and we're gonna do some different sections. Are gonna be a different color. So each section of the cat's face could be a different color. The head, where he's dreaming of the bird. His nose, two parts. His mouth and his body. I did forget, and I don't know if you guys caught this, I forgot the whiskers on the cat. He doesn't look like a cat till he's got whiskers. So I'm gonna do 3 wavy lines. 1, 2, 3.
Same thing on both sides for balance. 1, 2, 3.
So here's the crayons. We're gonna start with the nose. Outline, don't worry about that, that's just my alarm. Outline the nose. Color it in gently. You don't have to press hard because we're gonna turn this, we're gonna add water to this later and it's gonna become paint. Let's do I'm gonna use that one and this one to do the cat. So one side, oh yeah, that's a nice orange color. I'm gonna go around the edge and do the cat. Outline first.
And then color in. You don't have to press hard. You're just putting down some color. And for balance, you're not going to do the same thing on this side, but actually I'm going to do this part of the eye the same color, or the ear. So there is some balance in the color. I have some here and some here. And I'm just going to lay down a little bit of color down. Make sure you put when you're not using them, you put them back in the tray. And then I'm going to do this other side with the yellow. Doing the outline first, and then filling it in. Okay, and for balance, we're going to bring that color over here too. Alright. Now I have this other color that I can use. It's kind of a gold color. We're going to add that too. we're going to add that to the top of the cat's head. Do the outline first, go around the bird, and just color lightly. And we can do the nose that color, and the body that color to repeat, and fill it in. Oh, you don't have to fill in everything. It's going to be kind of rough at first. And then let's see, we can use peach for the mouth, just to add something a little bit different, like the red nose. And we can do green or blue for the eyes. I'm going to do green. You could do green or you could do blue. Or purple. Pick the color that you like for the eyes. Alright? Oh, the bird. I forgot the bird. You can pick the colors that you want for the bird too. I think I'm going to use this pinkish purple for the body. Maybe the darker green for the tail. And the blue, since I haven't used blue, for the head. There we go. Alright, that's what you need to do
We're
next.
back for the final step in this beautiful painting that we're going to do. And that is to paint. We're going to use the cool colors. And so these are our cool colors right here. Purple, blues, greens are cool. And the warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. So you're going to use the warm colors for the cat like we've done. And we're going to use the cool colors for the background. So choose a color. Like I have dark green and light green. And I can choose one color. And we're just going to do a couple sections. So where the fold is, that's going to be our dividing line. You can also divide your paper with your color and section off an area that you want to color that color. Then you can use the darker green because they are in the same family. They are green. You can do another section outlining it so you know where you're going to put the color and then color it in. When you color, remember that you're going to color and you don't have to press.
Super duper hard, but you can see the paper has some texture to it, so even if you color it, it doesn't fill everything up, and that's okay. You're just going to put the color down. When you're done with the color, please put it back in the tray, and I'm going to do the dark green next to the light green. I like to work on the edge first, because then it's a lot easier to color inside and stay inside the lines. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to section off my diagonal part. And I'm going to color that in. I'm going to get the light green and do my other section right there on the fold. That's my imaginary line. So I'm going to do that. So this is value because we're dealing with a light green and a dark green. One is light, one is dark. So that's one of our elements of art. You know, value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So here we are using value in our artwork. Okay, I'm going to do light blue and dark blue just because I like a lot of balance and symmetry in my art. So I'm going to use my blue to make a diagonal line and section off this area and color it in. So I'm going to color, and I'm going to do the light blue on this other side. So outline first. Color, color, color. Color everything. It's not going to get every little section colored, but we're going to get most of it colored. And then the water's going to do the rest. And then, of course, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I've got my light blue section up here. And my dark blue section will be right next to it. So color it in. And the dark blue. You can do these same colors, or you can do the other choice that you have is this magenta color right here, and the purple. Magenta purple because it's kind of like a red purple, and then purple. Those two colors will go nicely together, and they are cool colors. So now I can go back in.
Okay, we're back for the final step in this beautiful painting that we're gonna do, and that is to paint. Turn this crayon, watercolor crayon, into watercolor. So we've got our setup, we've got our water tray with water on one side and the sponge on the other side, and we are just gonna paint with water. So make sure you dip your brush, tap it in the water, wipe it on the lip, not these lips, so that it's not dripping everywhere. And then, just like before, we're going to paint. And look at that as you gently move the brush back and forth like a ballerina. The watercolor, the color turns into watercolor. You've got to clean your brush between, so remember X marks the spot. X marks the spot on SpongeBob. So the brush is reshaped, you dip it, you wipe it, and then you're gonna go to the next section. I like to work from the center, and I'm very careful when I get to the edge of the color. So I don't want the colors to mix, so you have to stay within your lines. All right, now you know what we have to do. Clean it, dry it, dip it, wipe it. I think I'm gonna do the eyes next. Gently.
Very gently with my brush, back and forth. And I'm not pressing very hard. I just want the crayon to melt and turn liquidy. And that's what happens with the watercolor, with the water. X marks the spot, X marks the spot, dip, wipe, every time. We're gonna do the other eye. Okay? X marks the spot, X marks the spot, dip, wipe, and you're just gonna repeat for every section, every color of your bird. Stay inside. There's gonna be little pools of color, so you don't wanna tip your painting over because it will spill and the colors will run together. X marks the spot, X marks the spot, dip, wipe. And we're gonna do the little bird's head with the tip of the brush. Tip, ooh, I forgot to clean my brush. X marks the spot, X marks the spot, dip, wipe. And now I can go back in. Ooh, that was close. All right, I need to make sure I clean my brush. All right, here we go, dipping and wiping. I think I'm gonna do all the small areas first and let them dry before I go on to the bigger sections. So I'm gonna let that part dry right there. So I got the eyes, the bird, the nose, and the mouth of the cat, and I want to clean my brush, dry my brush, dip and wipe my brush. And now I'm gonna do a different section that's dry. I don't wanna get close to this area or this area because the nose is still wet. So I'm gonna do this orangey part of the cat. Go real slow when you get to the corners. Hold the brush up like a ballerina so that you can get a very small point on the edges. And gently. You're not pressing hard with the brush. You're just very gentle with the tip of the brush. Look at that. It's nice. Now since this is orange and this is orange, I'm going to go ahead and dip my brush in the water, but it's the same color, so I'm just getting a little more water on my brush. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Very, very careful when you get close to the nose, because the nose is still wet. So, we're going to continue working, dipping our brush and wiping it so it doesn't drip, and working gently in this area. Gently, gently, gently. Remember to use the tip of the brush and do not press very hard. You do not press hard. I'm not using a lot of water, I'm just, whatever's on my brush, I'm just kind of moving the water around that's on my brush. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to clean my brush and wipe it. And I'm going to do the other side of the face where it's yellow. Going very slowly on the edges. Right? Gently. Gently. Okay, see how I'm not pressing really hard and my bristles are not spraying out? I'm just going very gently, back and forth. I'm going to do the other side. Get a little Go slowly and very carefully when you get to those edges where the Sharpie is. There we go. Nice. Okay. Clean your brush. Last two sections are the body and the top of the cat's head. I'm going to do this part right here. With the water. Just kind of do the edge first. And then I can fill it in. I'm not using a lot of water, I just dip my brush one time, and then I just use whatever water's on the paper, and you just gotta push it around with the brush till it spreads. Okay? I'm gonna turn my painting around, dip my brush one more time, wipe it one more time. This is our last section. I wanna be real careful when I get to the edges. Whoop. So I told you it would bleed, and that's exactly what happened right there, because it was wet still, and I touched it with more wet water. The water. That's okay. We'll just let it do what it does. There it goes in there too. It's okay. Just gonna keep going. A little puddle there. A puddle over here. So I'm just going to move the water around. Okay. I think we're done. Be gentle, because you don't want it to tip or drip. Alright. So clean your brush. X marks the spot. Dry your brush. X marks the spot. And you're all set. Here we are with our water. And we're going to do all of the painting at the same time. And sometimes the colors will bleed together. And that's just the nature of watercolor. So it's okay if the colors run together a little bit. So you dip the brush in the water. Wipe it on the lip. Not these lips. And then we're going to just follow along like you're tracing again each shape that you made. I like to do the outline first. Remember, the brush is like a ballerina, always on our tippy toes. So now that I did the outline, I get a little bit more water on my brush. Just dip it, wipe it, and you've got enough water on your brush to blend and bring out the color. Okay, so I'm going to dip my brush, wipe it, and I'm going to keep adding when your brush feels really, really dry. You don't want to add too much water, though, because then you're going to run into a lot of puddles. And we don't want puddles. So spread that water out, brush on top, until you have smoothed away all the crayon, and it's just a layer of paint. Okay, while I'm doing the dark blue over here, I might as well do the dark blue over here. So my brush is pretty dry, I'm going to dip it, wipe it, and I'm going to come over here and do the outline first. Remember to go slow. Brush is like a ballerina. I'm going to do the edge, and then fill it in. Okay, and just going to try to get the crayon to smooth out. Once it looks nice and smooth, then you can move on. Okay. Clean your brush. X marks the spot. Dry your brush. X marks the spot. Dip it. Wipe it. And you're ready for the light blue. Right here, where the two colors meet, you will see some blending, some mixture. That's okay, because it's all blue. And blue, light blue and dark blue go together. They're going to blend together nicely and make like a medium blue. So I'm going to do the edge, dipping just a little bit at a time, a little bit of water at a time. You'll feel it. You don't want to add too much water too quickly, because if you do, then you'll run into a lot of puddles. So then here we go. Now you know I'm going to do the other side, because I've got my blue already on there, so I don't need to clean my brush. I'm just going to go in, start spreading out. I might need to dip it again in the water a little bit, because it's dry. And then I'm going to do the outline. And I'm going to do the edge, and the edge, and then fill it in. So you might have to get a little bit of water, but like I said, if you use too much water, you're going to get these big puddles. And I'm trying to get this water to come this way. So I don't have to get more water, I just bring it over here. And just kind of drag it across. There. Alright, now I'm going to clean my brush because I'm moving on to the greens. So clean it, dry it, dip it, wipe it. Light green, the edge, green and blue are next to each other on the color wheel, so they're going to blend together and make a bluish green. So don't be concerned about the colors mixing together. As long as you stuck with some cool colors, you should be okay. Alright, I'm going to come over here and do this one. Do the edge first. A couple times. You have to do a couple passes so that the crayon will start to dissolve and turn into the liquid paint. If you only do it one time, it won't melt. So, then we're going to do the middle. Just kind of spread the water around. There we go. Now I'm going to do the dark green. Clean your brush, X marks the spot, dip and wipe. Right there, those colors are green and light green and dark green. They're not going to make brown because they're related. I'm going to do the edge very carefully. I'm going to do the edge here. Make sure you have a messy mat. I didn't put my messy mat out, so I'm going to have to clean my table. There it is. You want to make sure you melt away all the crayon marks. And it does bleed a little bit, and that's okay. The paper will buckle too. It'll curl up. That's because of all the water that you're using. X marks the spot, dip, wipe. And this is our last section. So we're going to do the edge just like before. The edge. And then fill it in. Just be gentle with the brush. You can go back and forth as long as you're not booty scooting ballet like this. You're still using the tip of the brush. And you're not pressing very hard. That's the secret. Just to not press hard. Okay, I'm just smoothing out all the crayon. Alright, it's done. It looks fabulous. Look at the warm colors, look at the cool colors. We got light value, dark value. I love that. Stick with that combination. Same color, two different values. A tint, which is light, and a shade, which is dark. Okay? Those are my tips for you. Have fun. Watercolor crayons in a little tray. And you can slide the tray in the box. Close the two little tabs on the side first. And then tuck this part in. And then it's ready to go for next time.